Alright, cool. Let's begin. Welcome to this seminar. Welcome to this seminar that is the launch of our new version, the 2025 version of CYPE. Okay, my name is Afonso Solac. I'm civil engineer and I work as marketing director here at CYPE. Welcome to this session. The title it's quite simple to understand. The idea today is share with you a little bit our new features that were recently launched on the past April 8th. Okay, so this is the 2025 A version of CYPE. Okay, I expect that we have today here a session that is around an hour and a half. Okay, where we will try to cover most of the main features that were implemented in this version. We have features that are related to architectural modeling softwares, structural analysis, different types of installations, so MEP. Okay, and I've selected 15 new features to show to you today, but of course we have more than 15 features that probably will interest you. So yeah, I invite you to find more information about that also in our website. Okay, looking to CYPE.com and then going to this menu here where is the new features option, where you can read more about these features that we are talking about. Okay, all right, just to try to inform you a little bit about the organization of this presentation. The idea today is we will start looking for those features that are common to different softwares. Okay, then we will see a little bit the features of the softwares related to architectural modeling, so CYPE architecture and openbim Site. Then we will see the new features related to structural analysis, CYPECAD, CYPE 3D, and some other software. And we'll finish with MEP. Okay, so if you are watching the recording of this presentation, probably after this presentation, using our YouTube channel, for example, you can find the chapters, these main topics. You can go directly to that points that you maybe you are more interested. So you can try to use this bar and find the chapters related to these topics, and then you can go directly to that software that you use. Okay, or instead of you can stay here with us and see everything and understand a little bit the update and the overall view of the update that we'll be sharing with you today. Okay. Before we start with the first features, I just would like to recapitulate a little bit one concept that I think is very important here at CYPE. That is what is included in a version that is the A version of a software. That is this case. Okay, so this is the 2025 A version. Okay, but for those that are new with CYPE, okay, CYPE launches periodically different updates during a version. Okay, so usually we use the number of the next year to identify a version, and then we use a letter to identify the updates that we launched during that year. Okay, so we are launching in this case the first pack of updates of this version. Okay, but just showing to you here in our website last year or last version. Okay, because we are still in 2024. We started with the 2024A, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different updates during this version. It means during 12 months. Okay, so it means one update each 2 months approximately. Okay, with more features that were included in our software. Okay, and what I wanted to the concept that I would like to share with you is that this is just the beginning of your version with a lot of new features. As I said before, we'll see more than 15 here, but remember that we'll keep updating the software during this version until the end, and then publish a new one that is going to be the 2026. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the first features. Okay, these features you can also just click in this button here and see the complete list. Okay, so feel free to open this list and then discover more information about these features. Okay. All right, cool. So let's begin. Let me deactivate my camera so then you have more space in your screen. All right. So yeah, here we have more space to show the screens of the software that we'll be seeing today. Okay. Yeah, the first thing that I think it's important to show to you, it's related to the way that you install the SYPE software 2025 version. Okay, we have here a new tool that will help you to manage the different applications that you have. Okay, so that will help you to install and update the softwares easily. Okay, so this new feature we have called it CYPE Menu. Okay. It's this option here, okay? And the idea here is you have a toolbox, okay, where you can select the tools that you wanna install in your computer, and then you can every time you wanna use our software, you just run this app or run this menu, and then click on the software that you wanna use. Okay, the same thing is gonna be when you wanna update a software. Okay, so I will start with the beginning. Okay, I will share to you two ways to download this app, and then we'll see how it works. Okay, it's very simple, but I think it's important to know because it's the first step to work with SYPE. Okay, so to download this app, you have two options. Okay, the first option that you have is to come here on the Solutions tab in our website. Okay, so at CYPE.com, and then go to the download area. Okay. Here in the download area, you can filter the software, the downloads by installer and technical files. Okay, in this case, this is installer, and then you can filter also by version. In this case, we are talking about the 2025 version. Okay, with that, you will see here the results, and then you just download this option. Click here and download, and then you have this menu. Then you can run the software. Okay, you can install the software and run it. Okay, this is the first option. The second option is go directly to the BIMserver.center platform. Okay, BIMserver.center. Here you can log in. Okay, and then you can go to the area that we called store. Okay, here in the store at the BIMserver.center platform. Okay, and here you see a lot of applications. Most of them developed by SYPE. Most of them are included in the app, the CYPE Menu app. Okay, and here clicking in the CYPE Menu app, okay, you can also download the CYPE Menu from this point here. Okay, so it's going to be exactly the same option, exactly the same menu. You can select both options and then download the software. Okay. Once the software is installed, you see this little icon in your desktop, okay, or you see in the list of apps that you have in your computer, and by clicking here, you can run the CYPE menu, and then you see this list or this toolbox, as I have been talking before, in your computer. Okay. So how it works, it's very easy to understand. Here we have different folders or different categories of software. Okay, all the softwares that we have, they are classified by categories. So here you can see those 8 categories that are the most important categories that we have. Starting with architecture. Okay, so here we have softwares like as SYPE Architecture, openbim Site. Okay, here we also have openbim Layout. Okay, then we have the structural category. So here we have CYPECAD, we have CYPE 3D, we have the portal frame generator. Here we have CYPE Connect, we have StruBIM Steel, StruBIM Rebar, and different applications. We can also see here the MEP, in this case talking about mechanical and plumbing softwares. So here you can see, you can find CYPE HVAC, CYPE Plumbing. Here we can find, for example, CYPE Fire hydraulic systems. Okay. Here we also find MEP for electrical installations. Okay. Different versions of CYPELEC, CYPELEC PV systems. Okay. Energy and acoustic simulation. I'm sure that you already have been watching our presentations about, for example, CYPE E+, CYPE loads, okay? Here you can also find information about AcuBat by CYPE to acoustic analysis. Management, okay? So here you can find, for example, openbim quantities or openbim cost estimator. Project documents, okay, different softwares for that purpose, and also interoperability, where you can find the different plugins or softwares that we have to interact with other softwares that are not developed by CYPE. For example, using the IFC format, in this case through IFC Uploader, or using the plugin openbim REBT to connect CYPE with REBT. Okay, so it's very easy to understand how it works. Okay, and here, besides that, you also have here some options where you can contact directly with the technical support of CYPE. Here you can also find the user communities that are related to our software. There are different options here. Here you can also send your suggestions, your wishes to us using the wish list, or you can even find more resources in our CYPE Learning resources center, let's say that, where you can find more documents, manuals, tutorials about our software using this option. Okay, in this case you can also see that I'm connected with my license here. So this is my name, this is my my license, okay, and here I can also connect and disconnect this license, okay, because I'm using in this case a digital license. Okay, so here I can disconnect this license, for example, if I wanna use it in another computer. So I just disconnect the license in this computer, go to another computer, and connect again in the other. I don't need to install the software here. I just need to disconnect the license. Okay. Besides that, if you see in my softwares, some of the softwares, they are colored, and some of the softwares are in this grayscale. Okay, what it means, those softwares that are colored, it means that I've downloaded this software in this computer before. Okay, so in this case, CYPE Architecture is one software that I've downloaded before. So now it's available here at in this case at the CYPE menu to run it. Okay, if I click here in the number of the software, in this case, this CYPE Architecture application will start. Okay, it's going to be the same application that we have since the beginning. It's just organized in a different way. Okay, but here you can find the software, and once the software is running, I can start working with the application that was selected. Okay, so here you can see that is the CYPE Architecture that we use always is the same situation. To come back to the CYPE menu, I can use this little button here in the Windows system, click here in the CYPE menu option, and then I will see the menu working normally. And then I can also open another software parallel to the CYPE Architecture. In this case, there is no problem. Okay, so you can see that in my list of icons here, I have now CYPE Architecture working besides the CYPE menu, but then I can have more icons here simultaneously. Okay, those softwares that are in the grayscale, it means that they were not downloaded yet in this computer. Okay, so for example, in this case, CYPE Connect was not downloaded in this computer before. So if I click here, the system will tell me that there is a version of CYPE Connect that is the latest version available is 2025A, but there is also a previous version available that is the 2024F. So here I can choose both of them. I can choose the best one for that I need, depending on the project that I'm working. Okay, and the software is telling us that this application is not installed. So it's quite simple. I just click here, and according to the size of the software, the application that we've selected, the CYPE menu will start downloading this application from the cloud. Okay, and then will install to us in this computer. Okay, so when the process starts, I can select the type of licenses that I have. For example, if you are using one of our evaluation versions, one of our campus versions, or a temporary license version, it's here the place that you want to select, okay, to then work with the version that you have. If you already have a professional version, so you just select here professional version and then select the language that you want to install this application. For example, in this case, I'm installing in English. Okay, so CYPE Connect, and as you can see, at this moment I'm downloading CYPE Connect to this computer. Okay, because all the files that were necessary to install the CYPE Connect were not downloaded yet. So here I can save space on my hard disk because I select just those softwares that I wanna install in my computer. Okay, so I don't need to install everything that we have at CYPE because maybe could be important space in our hard disk. So here now I have the chance to select just those softwares that are your interest. Okay, let's wait here until CYPE Connect is installed. And when the download starts, the installation will run automatically, and then we will see this option here, this window, just telling us that the installation is completed. Okay, so let's accept it, and then you can see now that the CYPE Connect icon is colored and it's ready to use. Okay. A third situation that we have here is there are some of the softwares that I've installed before, they are needing some update. What it means? It means that, for example, in this case, StruBIM Steel, when I've installed StruBIM Steel, after that, CYPE launched a new version of StruBIM Steel, a new update. Okay, so here we can see this message telling us that there is a new version updated. For example, the version that I have in my computer is 2025A that was installed in this date at this time, but in this there is another one from another date that is now available. Okay, so if I want, I can just click here again or execute the software that I have. Okay, so I can choose between still use the software that is installed or update to the new version that is available. So it's quite easy to understand. It's much more easier now to manage all the tools that you use here with us. Okay, so just it's important to know that we have these three scenarios. Okay, three states of our software. Okay, not downloaded yet, downloaded but that needs an update, or then updated and that you can use. Okay, all right, so let's keep going. Okay, all right, so let's jump to CYPE Architecture. Okay, here at CYPE Architecture we have two new features. Okay, the first one it's here in the Architecture tab. Okay, so remember that when you run the software, the Sketch tab is activated by default. Okay, in this case we are talking about the Architecture tab, and here we have three new buttons. Okay, these three buttons that are here that can be very useful to us to model building elements. Okay, so we have an option to extend building elements, to trim building elements, and to fillet building elements. Okay, it's very easy to use. It's very useful too. Okay, so let's begin with the first one, the extend option. Okay, so when I select the tool, I select one element that's going to be the reference, and a second element that is the element that will be extended, and then I confirm with my right button of my mouse, and then I will see the operation finished. Okay, so first I select the reference, then the element that will be extended, and then confirm with the right button of my mouse. The second option that we have here is the trim option. So here it's a little bit more complete. Okay, so first I select a reference that will be the trimming element, then I will select the element that will be trimmed in this case, and then I select one of the parts that I want to maintain in my project. For example, let's imagine I want to maintain this one here. I select here, and then the element is trimmed. Okay, and the third one is the fillet option. Okay, the fillet option is very easy to use. I select the button here, select one element, the second element, and the fillet option will be concluded. Okay, so three new buttons, three new little features that will help us to model our building elements here at CYPE Architecture. To see the second feature that we have here at CYPE Architecture 2025, let me jump to this other model here, this other project that I have here at CYPE Architecture, and let me explain what happened here, what are the differences. Okay, so when we create a model, we probably have different types of walls, we have different types of roofs, different types of windows, different types of railings, for example. Okay, and these types of building elements, they can be controlled, can be created, registered using this option here, the types option. Okay, this is just a library of elements that we introduce to our project, and then we can select these elements when we are modeling the building. Okay, so in this case I have different types of walls, here I have different types of beams, I have here different types of windows, okay, that were created before here at CYPE Architecture. Okay, so the first thing that was improved here is that now I can use one element that was previously created to create a second element. Okay, for example, if I have a wall, let's imagine that I have a party wall. Okay, this party wall, let's imagine that we have some parameters here, so a thickness, 2 colors, and let's imagine I would like to create a new one that is quite similar, but just one of these parameters is different. So let's imagine this one is 30 centimeters. Okay, so I will change the name to identify this parameter here in the name. So if I accept, I will see the difference here. But now I can duplicate this guy and create, for example, another one that's gonna be 20 centimeters, change the parameter that I want, okay, and accept again, and I will have a second option available in my library of walls. Okay, so this little button, it's new here, so it's the same situation, of course, to the other elements. You can use it in windows, you can use it on ramp spans, you can use it on roofs. Okay, all the building elements, openings and connections have this new option from now on in the version 2025A. Okay, the second change that we have here that is related to the types is the way that we create and introduce the elements in the model. Okay, so let me show you one example. Okay, let's imagine that in this project here, I would like to add a window, for example, in this wall. Let's imagine I would like to add a window here. Okay, the process is quite simple. I select here the building element that is an opening. This opening I will select a window. Okay, and here we'll see the difference, because from now on in this window I will select one of the windows that I've created before here in the types option, that is already in my library. Okay, so all these windows, they were previously created by me, or they were part of a library that I have in my computer and I just uploaded to the software to this project, and then now I can select the elements here. So you can see that the properties that are related to this carpentry, they are not here. I just select the type of window that I want to introduce. Okay, and you can see also that we see here a thumbnail, a description, the main properties of this carpentries to easily select the best one, or that one that we want to introduce. Okay, so in this case, let's imagine I would like to add this one that was called with this name here. I can, in this case, set a distance from the ground if I want. Let's imagine it's this distance, and also set an adjustment, and then select one of the walls where I would like to introduce this carpentry. Okay, and then keep introducing. In this case, it's a window, so I select one of the directions. Okay, for example, in this direction, and also the position, and then the window will be introduced to my model. Okay, then maybe the best thing here is if I want to change one property of this element. Let's imagine I would like to change the color or the size. I will just go back to the types option, select this element in the Windows group, in this case in the Windows folder, look to that type, okay, and change the parameter of this type. It means that all those windows that were introduced in my model that were selected from this option will be changed, because everything is connected in this case. Okay, so the logic that we have now to model something here at CYPE architecture, it's a little bit different from the logic that was before. The logic here is, now you can of course start creating with your sketch elements, but before you start modeling your building, you have to go to the types option and create a library of elements. Of course, there are some elements that are here by default. For example, some suspended ceilings. At least one element will be here by default when you create a new project, an empty project. Okay, but the idea here is to create the elements that you want and then use these elements in the project. Okay. Something that is very cool here is that all that elements that you create, you can then export it to your computer. Okay, export, save it in a local folder, and then in a next project you can import again these types to keep using the same types. Okay, so with these changes, you have more control, you have more quality in your project, because then if you want to change something or count something, or everything is going to be connected here. Okay. Okay, so let's now jump to openbim Site. Okay, just let me open here this option here. So openbim Site is our software to model the terrain, to download information from different sources, different types of maps. Okay, here we can geolocalize our project. Okay, so openbim Site, and for each version that we launch, we are adding more connections to different databases from different countries. And in this case, in the version 2025, is not different. Okay, so in this version, especially in this version, we added more databases from Spain, from Belgium, from the Netherlands, also from Greece, Argentina, Mexico, Brazil, and Panama. Okay, so these names here, okay, this data, they are different different fonts, different databases that are now connected with openbim Site. Okay, of course there are more countries than these that are available in the software. So let me show you here what we have today available here, but remember that we are adding more and more countries, so it's important, if you are watching this video today, just download the software. It's for free. Check if your country is available, or even if it's not available, you can use other tools to create your terrain or add information manually here in this software. Okay, so in this case, this is the interface. My project, it's geolocalized, so I know the latitude, longitude, and also the reference system of the place where I wanna construct or where I wanna add my model. Okay, remembering that this information, when we introduce this information here, when we export this project to the BIMserver.center platform, we will generate an IFC file, and this IFC file will have this information, this geolocalization information. Okay, so this is very important. But the point of this new feature is related to this button here, the Maps button, where we can create a new map. Okay, and there are several types of maps that you create. It will depend actually on the information that is available to our country. Okay, but first we can create a map by inserting an image from a JPG file, for example. This is not new, just to inform you that you have this option. Okay, so you can manually create your map. And the new feature is that these lists of files, they were increased in this version because we added more countries. Okay, so now we have different databases from Spain, from Portugal, from Poland, from France, from Germany, from Italy, in this case in Italy for each one of the regions of Italy, from Czech Republic, for example, and probably from here, I think Belgium is the first that was introduced in this version, then Netherlands, Greece, Argentina, Mexico, Brazil, and Panama. Okay, so here you have information from this different database. Just to show you, depending on the database, then we will have different types of information. For example, this information from Italy, this region that is Friuli, have this kind of information that will probably be different from this database that have this different type of information. In here in Czech Republic, it's going to be the same. This one that I will confess that I don't know what exactly is this one, but probably for someone that is modeling something to Czech Republic, we understand what kind of data is this information that is here. Okay, so different types of maps related to the laws and the information available at the Czech Republic to this place that is geolocalized. Okay, so for example, here in Belgium it's going to be the same situation. Okay, and so on. Okay, just to show one example. Okay, I have another project that I've geolocalized before, that is in this case is in Czech Republic, in Prague. Okay, so I already have this latitude and longitude information, and if I go to the maps option, I've created one map here. So I used this information from the geo portal orthophotos. Orthophotos are actually these pictures or this information that is with it's satellite informations. Okay, so in this case I have these orthophotos. These are the coordinates of the coordinates related to the information that I want to download from this database. I selected the UTM coordinates in this case that I know that I have information available, and then I select a space. In this case I select a square that is 500 meters in each side. Okay, and then a type of image and a scale with a resolution, and from then I can download this information from this database to then activate it in my project and then use this information for different purposes. Okay, so in this case, if I select this map, now it's downloaded, it's available here, and I will have it here in my project. Okay, in the project area, and then I can start working with this area. For example, adding more information, downloading more maps, or if I have a topographic surface, I can also combine the information from the maps with the topographic surfaces. Okay, so yeah, the new feature here is that we have more countries available, and I invite you to try the software, download the software, and if you are watching this video, please check if your country is now available here. Okay. Alright, so let's keep going. Now let's change the subject, let's change the discipline. We have been talking a little bit about architectural modeling. Now let's see the new features of structures. Okay, so to see structures, let's come back to our CYPE menu that is here, you already know. Let's open the CYPE menu and let's jump to structures. Okay, we'll use, in this case, we'll see some things here at CYPECAD, CYPE 3D, and also CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel. Okay, so let's start with CYPECAD. Let's open the software and let's see the new features that we have implemented here at CYPECAD in this version. Alright, so let's begin with the first new feature. Let me open here one project that I have here. I use this project to show some of these features. Okay, the first new feature, it's very useful. It's very easy to understand. Okay, but it's very useful. Okay, so yeah, I'm here in the column definition tab. Okay, and the first new feature is use a project that we have developed before as a template to a new project that we are creating. Okay, so let's imagine that this project that you see, it's a project that is it's a past project. Okay, so if I go here to the file menu, now we'll have this button here, save as a template. Okay, when I click here, okay, I will create a new file that will be saved in this default root here, but I can change it and save it in a different place in my computer. Okay, so if I want, I can change it or maintain that, and I will add a name for that. For example, my new CYPECAD template. Okay, of course we will choose, I can have different templates, for example, according to the type of project or the places I'm designing. Okay, so yeah, we can create different templates. Okay, so it's saved. Okay, If now here the message that is saved, okay? If now I open CYPECAD again and create a new project, you see that we have a new feature here. Okay, then I'll show to you which kind of data we are saving in this template. Okay, so let me open a new CYPECAD file, in this case an empty file. Okay, so now I'll create here a new file, and this is the point. Okay, so templates, start from a template, and if here I can add the place where the templates were saved. Okay, I can browse it. I just have this one because I've just created this new template, so let's accept. Okay, and now I can keep going normally. Okay, I can enter the information, the geometry of my project with different options as always, and then the software will start with all the data that was defined before in the general data menu with the information from this template. Okay, so this data that is here, for example, the codes that I've selected, the materials for the different structural elements that I have, the information related to the loads here. Okay, so everything that is here in the general data, that if you have been working with CYPECAD before, there is a lot of data to set here. It's not just this information that you see in the screen, because we have these little buttons with more options inside. Okay, so this information now is saved as you can save it as a template, and in future projects you just start using the templates and then start modeling your building, your structure in this case, and then you can analyze it and finish your job easily. Okay, so this new feature, it's quite interesting, very useful. So now you can save templates from projects and start new projects with these templates. Okay, so let's see one more feature here at CYPECAD. Let me change the project here. So yeah, let's come back here to this project. This new feature is here in the BIM definition tab. Okay, so let's open this tab. Okay, this feature it's also related to productivity. Okay, it's here in the loads option. Okay, so when we introduce loads here at CYPECAD, there are different ways to create loads, or better, it's different ways to introduce loads, but we create the loads here in this loads menu, where the values of these loads will be introduced into the software. Okay, so we can introduce point, line, and surface loads, and until this moment, every time that we introduce a load, the option was introduce a load by manually introducing these values here. Okay, so it's the generic way to introduce a load. Okay, of course this load coid be uniform or trapezoidal if it's a line, or here in the point it's just a value, or in the surface we have here different units. Okay, but the point is that until this moment the option was introduce manually this value. Okay, the new option that we have here is to create the predefined loads. Okay, so the idea is quite simple. We can create different types of loads, we can create a library of loads, we can save these loads in the project and use again these loads in other parts of this structure. Or could be even better if we save these loads to our computer and then use these loads again in future projects. Okay, so it's a nice way to organize the loads that you usually introduce in your structure. You can get information from bibliography or even from a code introduced here, and then always use the same load if that's part of your criteria when you are designing your structure. Okay, so let's create one case here. It's very easy. Okay, so as you can see here, my list now of loads here have one. Okay, but I'll create a new one. It's very easy. It's just creating a new one in this button here. I can import a load that I already have in my computer, and this is gonna be then the button to export. Okay, or I can create a new one. For example, let me create a load that I'll call brick wall. okay, or better, it's going to be external wall, perforated brick. Let's imagine, or could be perforated ceramic brick or concrete block. It doesn't matter. It's just an example, okay? Double leaf, for example, double leaf. Okay, I'm just adding a name. It's a reference, and this is going to be an uniform load. And let's add here some value. Let's imagine it's something like, I don't know, 350 kilograms per meter of wall, or in this case, it's a linear load. Okay, so let's accept. And here now I have two different options available in my library. Okay, from now on I can start adding this loads in my project. But before we do an example of that, let's open the list of loads here. So this little button that we have here, it's to open this list of predefined loads, and here we can make some changes. For example, I can change the order of these elements, or for example I could download duplicate this information. Let's imagine we have the external wall, perforated brick, double left. Let's change here to single left, for example. Sorry, here let's change also the value. Let's imagine it's, I don't know, 0.24 to 240 kilograms. Okay, something like this. We can set here an order that is according to our preference, and accept, and here we will see the difference again. So, okay, so you can create by adding directly here, or even by editing the table here. Okay, here you can also export this information to your computer. Once you have this loaded created, then you associate this load specifically to one of the load cases that you previously created when you started your project here at CYPECAD, and then you can use, for example, this button to add a new load. And to add a new load, you just have to draw the load, and then you'll see the value here. Okay, another option would be use this option of loads to edit one of the loads that were introduced before. Okay, so you edit the load, change the select a different reference, and then the value will be updated. Okay, or you can even do the same situation by assigning one of these loads, and then you can select if you want to change just the value or the reference in this case, or also the reference and the load case. Okay, so, or you can change just the load case, for example, and then you can select the different loads that you want to change by selecting them, like I'm doing here. Okay, you can create here a multiple selection, and then confirm with the right button of your mouse, and then you change the loads using this option. Okay, so let's see one more feature. We'll keep here in the BIM definition tab. Okay, this new feature is here. It's also related again with productivity. Okay, so in the groups option, now we have this option here to search reference. Okay, search reference. So if I click here, I can search, for example, let's imagine I would like to search for a specific column. In this case, my columns were named as with the letter P and then a number. So you can see here P1, P2, P3, P4, P7. Okay, so if I start searching for P, and then, for example, P4, we can see here the P4. Okay, or for example P9. Okay, so quite easy, it's very easy to understand. In this case, P10. Okay, P6. Okay, very easy to understand. Or for example, let's imagine we are looking for a bin, or if you see, without finishing the word, I can see different elements that have this reference, bin 3, bin 2, bin 1, or I can even finish that and select one specific bin. Okay, so this is a very simple tool, but very powerful tool, especially if your project it's something big. Okay, so if you have too many bins, too many columns, so here you have this option to increase your productivity. Alright, so let's keep going here at CYPECAD. We have more features here. Let me select, I think this one that we'll see now, it's the main one, probably the most important feature introduced at CYPECAD in this version 2025A. Okay. Before we see here in the program, let me introduce this feature here using this little link that we have here. I'm also sharing with you the link in the description, in the chat. Okay. So here this feature is is checking the requirements for the seismic design of reinforced concrete nodes. Okay, so this is a new module. You must activate this module. You must have this module in your license if you want to use it. Okay, and in this version, in the version A, we have introduced this checking for this list of codes. Okay, so there are different codes here from United States, Colombia, Mexico, Bolivia, the Eurocode 8, and also the Spanish structural code. Okay, so this is the list of codes that are available with this checking from this moment. Let's see in the future which ones we'll keep adding here at CYPECAD. Okay, I'll try to cover here two examples. Probably will select here the American code and also the Euro code to have two different examples. Although the example or the concept it's quite similar, of course the criteria and the values will be different according to the code, but the idea it's gonna be the same. Okay, so let's jump back to CYPECAD. Let me open here the same project that we have been looking before, and first things first, let's open here the project general data. Okay, and let's see some details. Okay, the first thing that we want to understand, we must understand here at CYPECAD, probably if you work with CYPECAD you already know, but if you are starting, I think it's important to talk a little bit about that, is that we have different places to select the codes here in CYPECAD. So the first place where we select code is here, the codes option. Okay, so here we'll select those codes that are related to the structural type or the structural materials that we will have in our project. So in this case I've selected the ACI 318 for the concrete elements that will be analyzed in the project, and then the different codes to the other materials that I will have here. Okay, and there's a second place where I can select codes. In this case, as we are talking about seismic analysis, we are talking about nodes, some checks that will be analyzed, some code checking related to the nodes. Okay, I must activate in this case the seismic loading. Okay, as you can see here, the seismic loading is activated. In this project, the wind loading is deactivated. Okay, and once I activate the seismic loading, I will select here the code that is related to the seismic loading, and if I click here, I can open the list of codes that are available for seismic analysis here at CYPECAD. Okay, in this case I've selected USA, and for USA here we have a different list of codes, and of course if I change it I can select one different country, I will have the code of that country. Okay, so when we are talking about this list of codes, we are talking about, of course, seismic codes. Okay, seismic analysis code, and we select these codes using this option that we have been talking before. Okay, all right, so in this case I'm selected the American codes to start. Okay, and here we select the criteria for ductility of this. In this case, it's according to the parameters of the code. Okay, so there are different categories in this case. When we see the second example on Eurocode, there will be something similar but with a different scale. Let's say there are other concepts there. Okay, here you also have a little button to understand a little bit how it works. Okay, and this model that I want to show to you, you will work just if we have these checks selected. Okay, So from this point, let's imagine everything it's okay. We are already defining the structure. Everything it's okay here. We also already let's imagine we already analyzed the structure. Okay, so we already used this option here to run the analysis. Okay, and now we can see the results of the project. Okay, something that is normal in our process when we are using CYPECAD. And the new feature that we have here is analyzing here the results in the option related to column or shear walls. Okay, we have this new button here. Okay, concrete nodes. We have this option to consult the checks that were made in these nodes of our structure. Okay, if I click here, you see that the color of my structure will change, and in this case the columns are highlighted, and if I hover over these columns I can see all the results that were checked, okay, according to the code that I've selected before, the code and also the utility criteria. Okay, so I can see that this column that is now selected, I can see all the points of the code, the American code in this case, that were verified. Okay, so I can see that according to the general method, the point 1525 it's okay. Also then the second one, that is the continuity across the node, is also okay. Okay, so I can see all the code, all the parameters that were analyzed and if they are checked or not. Okay, in this level of my project I have some different nodes here. Okay, the beams that are arriving, they are connecting to these columns, but of course for each column, each level that I have, if I change here the group, I will have other another nodes. Okay, they are the same columns, but the beams are different. Okay, if I keep going, okay, I can see all the differences in all the levels that I have. Okay, if you see here in this level 3, I have one case that there is a parameter here, that is the reinforcement arrangement, the point 18822, that is not okay. Okay, it's not verified. Okay, something here is not correct. Okay, so the software will tell to us using these colors and also the information when we hover if the nodes are checked or not according to the criteria of the code selected. Okay, if I click in one of these nodes, okay, for example, let's open one that is okay. Look at this one, there is nothing here. We don't have a bin in this column. It's just this slab, so there is not node here, so I cannot see any result. Okay, that's if we don't have a bin, we don't have a node in this case, but in this case we have. Okay, if I click in one of these nodes, we can see all the checks that we have here. In this case, of course, everything is okay because we can see these green checks everywhere. Okay, and if we click, we can see as we have in other parts of CYPECAD, in all the reports that we have here in CYPECAD, we can see always the limits or the minimum values or maximum values according to the parameter that is described in the code selected, and then the results and the comparison between this data. Okay, and we can also see here in this this little map or the structure which node in this case we are analyzing. Okay, if we come back and open the other, this one that is not 100% safe, let's say that, we can see that there are some there is a specific point here that is not checked. Okay, I can navigate by changing here all the topics, looking for those that are not okay. Okay, or I can filter and only show the failed checks. That is just one in this case, and I can see here why it's not okay. Okay, it's something related here to the length of the bars that there are not enough in this case. Okay, so in this case we are talking about this node in the P7, the column P7 with two beams. Okay, two beams. We have one frame that is gonna be here, one frame that is gonna be here. So here in this area we have the option to now edit the column or one of these frames that we have here, or both frames if it's necessary. Okay, so if I click here in this column, in this edit option, I will open the column editor and I can change some parameter here related to the reinforcement, trying to solve this problem. Okay, so of course I should know the level. I think this one, it was the third level, and I can change a parameter related to this, trying to solve the problem that the software registered before. The same situation could be if we are talking about the beams or the frames, because remember, it's a node, so it's a combination between a beam and a column. So if I open this frame, I can edit it, and here I can also change a parameter, okay, related to the trying to solve this problem, and checking if it's everything okay with the other parameters that are not related specifically to the node checking, but that are necessary because we have some different other criteria to check. Okay, so if you are already working with CYPECAD, you already know these menus here. The point is, remember that you can also access these nodes to make your changes inside of the node that you are looking for the results. In this little button here, we can see the complete report of this node, okay, including all the results and the comparison with the parameters from the code selected, and of course you can export it to different formats as any other report that we have here at CYPECAD. Okay, if we let's change the project. Let me open actually the same project but analyze it with a different code. So let me come back here to my recent files. I have prepared, for example, one example that is the Eurocode 8 with a criteria of ductility that is the low ductility, that is part of the options that we have for when we are analyzing with Eurocode. So here in the general data, let's see the changes. Okay, so here the point is I've changed it also here the Eurocode in the concrete here, okay, to the Eurocode 2, but the point is here I'm selected not the ACI not the American code, but the Eurocode 8 in this case. Okay, Eurocode 8. And when we are talking about the Eurocode 8, the criteria for ductility here is it's divided in low, medium, and elevated ductility. Okay, this project, let me see here. Let me see if I already calculated it. Let's change to the results tab for a while. Let me see. Columns, yes, it's already calculated, it's already analyzed, but in this case I have calculated with sorry, I said before low, but I analyzed it with medium ductility. Okay, and here just showing you the results. If I come back here to the results tab again in the column and to wall definition, I will still select here. Look, here I am in the foundations, in the level where I'm connecting to the foundation, so I don't have beams, so I don't have nodes. It's why I cannot see nothing here. But if I change the level, it's gonna be the same situation. Okay, and if we navigate here, we can look for the results of the structure, in this case with another code. With this combination, that is a different code and a different ductility, okay, that column that we saw before, it's okay. And as you can see, the list of parameters here is different because we changed the code. Okay, this is probably the part that is one of the most powerful parts of CYPECAD, because you can also analyze a structure according to different codes, especially if you are working in a country where you don't have a specific code for something like this, and you know the importance of analyzing the structure in this kind of looking for this kind of checks. Okay, so you can compare even the results with different codes by just changing the code and maintaining, for example, the geometry and the loads and the load cases that you have introduced before. Okay, of course, if I click here, I will see these results, and it's going to be the same situation. Okay, so I can check if these results are okay or not. Okay, so this is the new feature, this is the new model that we have here at CYPECAD. You can connect, you can talk with your one of our resellers in our country to know a little bit more how to include, how you can include this model in your license if you want to use this kind of tools. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see the other features that we have here at CYPE 2025A. Alright, so we've covered this new features of CYPECAD, so let's go to CYPE 3D. Okay, CYPE 3D also have some new features. Let's open our CYPE menu again, the new CYPE menu that you already know, and let's run CYPE 3D. Okay, so CYPE 3D have two features. They are features related to the fire resistance check of the steel and wooden structure. Okay, so I have here one example. Let me open it. So let's see what we have new here. Okay, before I show these new features, let me show you a little bit how we decide if you want to check or not the fire resistance of our structure here at CYPE 3D, and how we select the codes, and then how we introduce the data here. Okay, so here in the project menu, in the general data, okay, we have an option that is this one here, fire resistance. Okay, so here we can select this option, and for both steel and timber we have here options to decide if you want to check or not the fire resistance of the sections of our project. Okay, the first situation in this case of steel is do not consider the fire situation. That could be one option. It means we will not analyze the fire resistance, we will not check the fire resistance. Okay, the second situation is, according to the code that I've selected, I can check the fire resistance. Okay, if I decide to check the fire resistance, then I'll have I must add some information to check it. For example, the required resistance. Okay, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, according to the code I've selected. And if I want, I can also cover the sections with a specific material to get a better fire resistance of the structure. Okay, or I can select this option that is without fireproof coating. Okay, and there's a third option that is calculate the critical temperature in a fire situation. And in this case, we will have this temperature, this critical temperature, and then we can check comparing this critical temperature with a bibliography or a material from a manufacturer, a document of a manufacturer that indicates which is the critical temperature of the cover of this manufacturer. Okay, so according to the technique that will be used to add this cover in the structure. Okay, so this is something that we already had in our software since some years ago, but now we have new features that are related to this part that I will show to you. Okay, before we see this option, let's do something here. Let's suppose that I have a required resistance of R60 or 60 minutes, but I will try to check if I will try to design a structure without fireproof coating. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's accept here, let's accept again, and let's analyze our structure. Okay, and see what happens. Okay, my sections, they are already analyzed, or in terms of structural resistance, in terms of forces. Okay, so let's just check here and let's see the results that we have. Okay, there are some parameters related to the buckling analysis that were not decided, but no problem. Let's see what happens in terms of fire resistance of the structure. Okay, so just designing the bars, calculating here the different parameters, and here we'll see the results. Okay, the first thing that we see here in the final design report is that the fire resistance check has been kept in mind during this analysis. Okay, so yeah, we checked the resistance, the fire resistance. To see these results here in the analysis tab, we have this option, check elements. Okay, and we'll see that some elements of our structure are in the green color and some elements are in red color. Okay, red color. Those that are in green, we know that all the parameters that were selected are okay. Okay, so for example, this bar, we can see that everything is okay. Or in the others that are in red color, something is not okay. Something is not checked. Okay, in this case, if you see this box with all the parameters, first in bold you can see the reference of this bar and its length. We can see the layer, we can see the type of section, and then we have two blocks of information, the outside temperature and the fire situation. Okay, the outside temperature, it means that we are using just 28% of the resistance of our section. Okay, so in the situation without fire, this bar, it's okay, and we have here a bar that is much bigger than we need, because we are using just 28% of the resistance of this bar. The problem is if we have a fire situation during 60 minutes in this case, that our bar will not be safe. Okay, because here then we'll have 194% of the maximum that we should have in this situation, and it means that if we do not protect this bar with a cover, a specific material, we will not have a safe situation here. Okay, so what we can do here to change the situation and add a cover here. Let me show you how to do that, and here is the point where we have the new features of CYPE 3D. Okay, to do that, here in the bar option we have one option that is fire resistance. Okay, so I can click here, select one or more bars. Okay, and then I will open this option to define the parameters related to the fire resistance of this bar. Okay, the first new feature that we've introduced here at CYPE 3D that is related to fire resistance is here. Okay, is this little button here. Here we can select which faces of our section are exposed to the fire. Okay, so we can have a situation that all the faces of the section are exposed. We can have a situation where the section is connected to another surface, maybe a slab, for example, in the top, and then expose it in one fire. We have here different situations that we can decide how this bar is exposed to the fire. Okay, so which face of the bar is exposed to the fire. Okay, in my situation here that I have an isolated bar, let's imagine we don't have any wall here, any slab, in this case we don't have slab, but no protection here. I will get this option here that is everything here is exposed, but we could select that. Okay, once we select it, we have two options. Okay, and here we will see the second new feature that we have. The first thing is I would like to add the fire protection, or the fire cover, the cover according to the configuration entry in the general data of the job. It means that information that I've decided here before, that could be something general for the project. Imagine I would like to add to all the elements of the project or for different elements of the project, or I can configure a fire resistance check specially to this bar. Okay, in both situations I will have the option to add not just the parameter that we are checking here, but also a cover. Okay, and there are different types of covers. Okay, could be fiber boards, could be plaster boards, mineral fiber sprays, different types of cement mortars with vermiculite. Okay, and there is one option, and this is the new feature, that is the intumescent paint. okay, something very popular, okay. The nice point of this option is that here you can find information, technical information from different manufacturers that produce this kind of cover, okay. The point is here we have a list of reference of different manufacturers, and for each manufacturer you have different materials that you can select, okay. And then once you select this material, you can analyze the structure again and see if it's enough or not, okay. But it's a little bit better than this. The point is, they're not just these two manufacturers with these two products, okay. With this little button here you can access the openbim database, and the openbim database, it's a huge database of technical data. In this case we can see some manufacturers that produce intumescent paints, but there are other parts of this SYPE software where you can find this kind of menu where you can download information from other manufacturers for different purposes, okay. And here in this case you can see that North and Sherwin-Williams were downloaded before. I can see that the button that is download is blocked because I already downloaded, okay. So I've selected these manufacturers in the past in this computer, okay. I have options here to update these catalogs. Maybe North or Sherwin-Williams have more products, so I can come here and update the information, or I can delete it from my computer, okay. Or I can select another manufacturer and download the catalog of other manufacturers. As you can see here, it's quite easy to do it. I just have to select the manufacturer, and now I will have more manufacturers available in my computer, and then I can use the materials in my project, okay. So if you miss a manufacturer here, you can use this button here to send us any suggestion about the manufacturers that are popular, are common in your country, in your region, okay. Or you can also show this to manufacturers that maybe you already know, suggesting them to contact us here at SYPE to introduce their materials here in SYPE 3D, okay. Once I select the manufacturers that I wanna download, as you saw before, I can finish this option, and you see that this list will be updated with the new manufacturers. For example, here, if I change to Hempel have two options here, and if I choose to International Paint, we'll have here one option, okay. I'll try to use one of them. For example, I'll take this one, and then I will accept, okay. Of course, with this change, my structure is different because now this bar have a different situation, okay. Here I can see that this bar have a fire resistance parameter that is 60 minutes and have an intumescent paint, but this one is not covered, okay. Just to show the difference here, you can see in the last line of the box this little detail that was changed, okay. So let me analyze the structure again. Let's analyze it again. We'll not check the sections according, well, we'll not design the sections, we'll just check the sections, and let's see what happened with this cover that we just added in this bar. Of course, another option would be change this section to a bigger section, but we saw that in terms of resistance, in mechanical resistance, there was more than enough the section that we have, so it's a little bit better if we change, we add a cover as we are trying to do here, okay. So let's check, and in this case let's see what happens. As you can see here, now it's green, okay, and in both situations, okay, in the normal situation, it means the outside temperature, we still have the 28% because it doesn't change, but in the fire situation of 60 minutes, here we have some data, okay. We can see that the quantity or the thickness of this intumescent paint that is called in this case Firetex FX6010, it's 0.871 millimeters, and with this thickness we will reach 99.7% of the DC ratio when we are talking about a fire situation of 60 minutes, okay, and a critical temperature of 780 degrees Celsius, okay. So this is how we can introduce these materials to CYPE 3D and consider these covers, these intumescent paints in these sections here at CYPE 3D, okay. We saw how to introduce this option for one specific bar, one isolated bar, but another option would be add the painting in all the elements, okay. And to do that we can come back here in the general data, for example, and instead of selecting here without fireproof coating, we can do the same thing that we did for one bar to the whole structure. For example, I'll take the same one, FireTech 6010. You can see here that the same materials are here. We have the same button here to download the same catalogs here, okay. I will accept, okay. And now if I analyze again, let's see what happens here. Let's see the results, in this case also related to the fire resistance, but in this case considering this cover. Just let's wait a little bit to see the results. It's not a big structure, so we'll have these results in just some seconds. Yeah, here we have the final design report. The fire resistance check has been kept in mind during the analysis, okay. And here if we see the results, the elements, let's see the results. We have more bars that are okay, so we can see that all these bars were okay. So for example, this one, now we can see that we have a thickness of 1 centimeter and a little bit more than 1 centimeter, okay. This one it's a little bit less than 1 centimeter, okay. So the software tells to us which is the quantity necessary to reach this fire resistance. And in this case here we don't have a situation that is possible. We must try to find a different combination, maybe changing the material, changing the manufacturer, changing the technique used, using another type of protection, or of course we can also change the section, but we'll try to do not do that. If we have a cover, it probably is going to be a better solution, okay. But the point is, now you can select the faces that are exposed to fire, and you can also select different manufacturers of intumescent paint to cover your sections and then reach a better fire resistance of your structure here with CYPE 3D, okay. Alright, so let's go to CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel, okay. We have some features in these programs. Let's open this CYPE menu. We can also say that there is a new feature that was not planned to be shown today or to mention in this webinar. That is that now we have CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel here in the CYPE menu. Okay, in the previous versions, these softwares, they were available just to download in our platform, in the BIMserver.center platform, and now it's also available here together with the other softwares of our structure suite. Okay, so yeah, that was not planned, but this is a new feature, we can say that. Okay, so let's open StruBIM Steel. These features that I'll show here using StruBIM Steel, they are the same for CYPE Connect. We will be opening the connection editor of StruBIM Steel, which has the same interface that we can see when we use CYPE Connect. Okay, so yeah, I'll show in StruBIM Steel, but it's the same situation for CYPE Connect. Okay, this is a very nice small structure. I think it's gonna be easy to show using a very simple connection. I'll take, for example, these connections here. They have it's a very common connection actually, but I think it's a good example to show you these features that we have, at least two of them. Okay. All right. The first two features that I'll show to you is related to this area of our screen. Okay. There are some operations that will help us to increase our productivity, organizing this list of operations. Okay, because depending on the type of connection, according to the number of elements or number of bars that we have in this node, this list of operations can be large. Okay, and it's important to maintain the sequence of operations in some cases, because they can have one operation in some situations need information from a previous operation, so there is some situations we can have a logic sequence to follow, and then the way that we name these operations and we duplicate these operations, so it's important to maintain it organized, especially if the connection is it's something a little bit larger than this. Okay, of course I get this little guy here just to show you in a simple situation, to be a little bit more for educational purposes. Let's say that it's better to get a simple case. Okay, the situation here is we have this little bar that where we can see some new buttons here. We'll see how these buttons work, and we also can see that there is an icon here available to help us to understand which operation is in each line. And sometimes the name of the operations it's not enough, because I don't know, maybe we changed the name or we have too many operations and it's confused. So this little icon now help us to know which one of these operations is this line before we click and open this operation. Okay, so this is part of this new features related to this operations manager, let's call it. All right, the part that I think it's more important here is the option to create groups or folders of operations. Okay, so let me create one that I will call, for example, operations related to V2. Okay, I have here V2 that is connecting to V1, and then here I have V3 that is connecting to V1. So I will probably have the same operations that I've applied to V2, then apply it to V3. Okay, because they are quite similar, maybe the same in this case. So if I organize the files, or the operations to V2, then I can compare V2 to V3 to see if I really adopted the same parameters, or even I can use information from V2 to then create V3. So it's why I'll create one folder that is all that is related to V2, okay, and another folder that is all that is related to V3, okay. Two folders that I'm just putting here in the end of my list, okay. The first thing that I've introduced here when I was modeling this connection, it was an adjustment operation to adjust the V2 to the nearest face of the V1. Okay, so this is an operation related to V2. I'll grab this operation and put it here on V2. Okay, this is also part of this new feature. Now you can grab these operations, move it in the list, or if you release these operations in a folder, you will include this operation in this folder. Okay. The second, the next operation that we have here, it's a cut in the V2, in the top of V2, with some dimensions here, and so it's again it's an operation related to V2. I will put it here inside of V2. Okay. The next one, it's an operation to add this lateral plate here. Okay, in the web of V2, connecting to the V1. Okay, so again it's another operation related to V2. So here you can see, you can understand, you can understand how it works. Okay, I can grab these elements and move it in the list. Okay, here for example could be interesting, move this lateral plate to the end of the list, so I can use these little arrows to move the operations also inside of the folders or in the list. The next operation it's related to V3. Okay, so I'll grab this one, I'll put it here. The next one it's an adjustment to V3. I will also put it here. The next is related to the connection of V2, the lateral plate 1 to V2, so it's V2. Okay. The next one it's related to the V3 so let's put it here. Okay, sorry, here. It's gonna be better. And the last one it's the bolts that are also related to V3. Okay. There is something here that is not correct. The software tells to us that it's impossible to there is not there is the plate is not correct. Why? Because if you see the order that I introduced, it's not correct. First I must add a plate to then connect the bolt to the plate. So in this side it's correct, but in this side it's incorrect because the order of the operation. So let's use these new buttons here to change the lateral plate here, and then when I create the bolts, I introduce the bolts, I can select the lateral plate 1 that was introduced previously. Okay, so with this little example I think I can show you how to work with this new operations manager, or this list of operations. So the first thing is you can now edit the name of the operations. You can see the icon of these operations. You can move the operations using the arrows. You can create your folders using this little button here. Okay. Another example of this that I think it's interesting, it's in this case I've classified by V2 and V3. So now I have the chance to deactivate everything that is related with this group. So look the difference, V3 and V2. Okay, so I can activate and deactivate, and again, if I'm doing something a little bit more complex, I can try to combine some operations. Maybe in some situation it will not work, then I will try another combination of operations, and I can use these folders to save these intents, and instead of deleting everything, trying again. Okay, and in the end, when I decide which is the best combination, I can delete those operations that are not enough. Okay, so for example here, if I delete this folder, I will delete everything that is related to the V3. Okay, of course I can do the same by duplicating, in this case, the V2. Okay, creating a new group that is operations V3. But of course now I must change some parameters, changing for example V3 to V2 to V3, again V3 to V1 to V2 to V3, V3 to V, you understand. And here also connecting the bolts of V3. Okay, let's see, where is my mistake here. The point is the name of my operation here, it's this plate. Okay, and as you can see, when I have this organized in a folder, it's also easier to duplicate a combination of operations by duplicating the whole folder. Okay, another use of this is that you can then export this list. Okay, and look the difference. If I export, in this case, this folder, I'm exporting just one of the bars, as so that could be interesting to when this connections is much more complex than this, for example, and you need to save it into your library, or when you have some similar connections in your project but they're not exactly the same, but they have parts that are common, because then you can import this this partial list of operations. You don't need to import everything, you can import just one part. Okay, so this is another use that you have here when you classify your operations in using folders. Okay, another feature that we have here is an option to search in the list of operations. Okay, so here you just can search everything that is related to sections or everything that is related to a specific bar. Okay, it's why it's important define a name to this operation that can be then easily that can be searchable. So again, if you have a large list of operations, that will help you to increase your productivity. Okay. All right. So here we have two of the new features that we've implemented in CYPE Connect and StruBIM Steel that are related to this list of operations. Okay. The third option that was implemented, the third feature implemented, let me open one example here. Let me see if we have an example, a little nice example. I'll get this little connection here. It's quite simple, but it's enough to show you how it works. Okay, so here we have this connection. It's a base plate. Again, it's a very simple connection, and in this base plate we have one operation to add the plate itself. Okay, then we have some adjustments here to connect the P1 to the plate and add these welds, and then we have some anchors. Okay, the point is that it's when we add these anchors, where we have in this case 4 elements. Okay, we have this little table here. Okay, this table from now on it's easier to introduce. Okay, the first thing is that now you can, actually this was possible before, is that you can copy the table. Okay, and then you can paste this table, for example, in another place. You can copy this to your clipboard. Okay, so if you copy here, you can close this option, go to another connection, and then you can paste this list with these coordinates of these anchors in another place. Could be, for example, another operation, another connection. Okay, so this is actually this was possible, but before, to paste the elements in a table, it was necessary to add exactly the same number of rows that you need in your table to then paste it here. Okay, paste from the clipboard. Okay, so that was before. From now on, you can paste directly here. You just have to add the first row. Okay, and paste from the clipboard, and all the rows will be included automatically. Okay, so if you have a geometry, for example, of an opening, that is another situation where, for example, we can add sorry, an opening. Yes, an opening. You can add geometry with this kind of tables, or when you add a plate, for example, and this plate have a polygonal shape. Okay, polygonal shape. You also have here a table. Okay, so these options that are introduced with different vertices, with different points, there are rows of a table, you now can paste directly from your clipboard this data, and it's gonna be much easier to introduce this data in your connections. Okay, so this is a very simple detail, but that increases a lot your experience, your productivity when you are introducing these geometries here in our connection editor. Alright, there are some features in this version, and also in some of the previous versions, that are related to this software here, StruBIM Uploader. Okay, in this version actually we have some new languages, so this software was translated to this list of languages. We have it's one of the features, and the second is related to the one option that we have in StruBIM Uploader, that is to import files created with ETABS. Okay, so you can design our structures using ETABS developed by CSI, okay, and then you can export from ETABS one type of file. In this case is the XML file, okay, and then you can import this XML file from ETABS in CYPE and use this for different purposes, okay. To do that, you must import this software using the StruBIM uploader, okay. And then, for example, you can detail it on StruBIM Steel, or you can design the connections using CYPE Connect, or even if you are using StruBIM Steel with the editor inside of StruBIM Steel. And also you can shear walls with StruBIM shear walls, for example. I'll do one example here to show you how it works, okay, a very simple example. The idea is explain a little bit the workflow that is behind it, which apps you need to establish this workflow to connect ETABS with CYPE, okay. So let's create a very simple example to understand how it helps, how it happens, okay. So the first thing that I'll do here is open one tab in my browser and open the BIMserver.center platform. Okay, we have here the BIMserver.center platform. So I'll create a new project using this little button here, and I will add a name. For example, ETABS to CYPE, for example. Okay, or connection ETABS to CYPE. No, ETABS to CYPE. It's nice, this name. Okay. And in this case, it's just a generic project. It's not professional. It's just for show you to how it works. So it's gonna be a project that is closed and it's not visible, and it does not matter. There's this points here is just to create an empty project here in our in my account. Okay. All right. This is the first step. I must have a project here at BIMserver.center. The second thing is I will upload the file that was generated in ETABS to this project. There are two ways to do it. Okay, the first option is go to the CYPE menu that we saw before, and here in the interoperability category you have the StruBIM uploader. So I will open this project, this software, okay, and as I said before, this software is used to introduce structural models that were created in softwares that are not developed by CYPE, as is in this case ETABS developed by CSI, to the BIMserver.center platform. Okay, so here I will add my credentials of the BIMserver.center. Okay, just log in with my account, and as you can see here, there are different options. For example, you can use StruBIM uploader to upload IFCs modeled with advanced steel. You can use to upload CYPE 3D models, although there is also a directly connection with CYPE 3D, or in this case XML files produced with ETABS. I will use this option here. Okay, so here I will select one file from my computer. Okay, so one XML file. In this case, I will use this little button here, and I have on my desktop one file that is an XML file. Okay, so I will select it, and the software will upload this file to the platform. Okay, as you can see, the software is reading and generating this IFC that is created from this XML file. Okay, there are different purposes. In this case, we are talking about a steel structure. So I will use this file to then connect with CYPE Connect or StruBIM Steel to detail the project or design analyze one of these connections. But another purpose, as I said before, could be send a reinforced concrete structure to design the shear walls using StruBIM shear walls. Okay, in this case I will select this option, and I will add this file to this project that we've created before. Okay, so the project ETABS to CYPE. Okay, so this is the option that we will do. Okay. Let me see, I have a small monitor here, so I cannot see the buttons. Let's see here. I'll click here to upload this file to my project, and I'll call it structure ETABS. Okay. Let's wait a little bit. And it's probably already uploaded. Yeah, we can see here that the file structure to ETABS. Oh, sorry, there is a little mistake here, but no problem. Was exported in IFC. What it means? We get this XML file and transform it into an IFC file. Okay. All right, the project has been updated correctly. If we come back to the project and we open it here, this file will be available also here in the cloud that we can see here in the platform. Okay, but the main purpose here it's go to in this case is go to a second software. In this case, I will open StruBIM Steel again. Okay, so let's go to our CYPE Menu structures and open StruBIM Steel. As I said before, it could be CYPE Connect or StruBIM Steel. Here I will create a new project. Okay, I'll select the sorry, I must connect here. That was not connected yet. I'll select the same project. Okay, ETABS to CYPE. I'll accept, and I'll get these files that are here, both of them, and I'll import it to my project here in StruBIM Steel. And look that all the sections that were introduced using ETABS were imported with all the information that we need. The section itself, the type of section, the material of each section, the number of elements, and if you want, we can select if you want to import or not these elements. In this case, I would like to import everything. Okay, so let's accept, and let's wait the software load the structure to us. And here I can see that this structure created with ETABS now it's imported to StruBIM Steel in this case. Of course, now I can start modeling all the details that I need, creating tags, classifying by colors, numbering, creating different types of connections. Okay, and if in some cases, depending how this file was exported from ETABS, we can also design the connections, because we can import the combinations and also the forces, the loads that were introduced in ETABS. Okay, so let's do one very simple example. Let's create, for example, a connection here in the something like a base plate, just to see how it works. So here I have this. I want to create here a base plate. Let me import a connection that I already have. Just a second. Let me open my connections library here. I think I have one base plate somewhere here. This one. I don't know if it's enough to this situation, but I'll try. It's just to show you one example about something that is possible to do here in this project here. Okay, so this connection, it's created by this combination of operations. Okay, the point is, if I go from the model to the analysis step, as this XML file contains data related to the loads and load cases, I have this option to generate the loads and load cases from the model that was imported, according to these filters that I can apply here, according to this minimum and maximums for forces and moments. Okay, and in this case, this file have two combinations. These two combinations that we can see here, and these combinations have different loads. For example, different axial, shear, and moments for each combination. Okay. Once we have these loads we are not introducing it manually. If we want, we can create new load cases here and add more loads manually. Okay. But the point is, importing this XML file using StruBIM Uploader, this action maintains these loads if these loads were exported in this XML file. Okay. So now I can go to the analysis, pressing here the stress strain button, and then we can see if this connection that was modeled here is enough to these loads. Okay, or these loads with these loads cases with the loads associated. Okay. I'll confess that I don't know what will happen here with this model, because the purpose here, it was not to really design the connection. The idea, it was just to show one example of one workflow. Okay, but let's wait a little bit and see the results of this connection to see what happened here. Okay, I think looking for the results that we see in the screen, that it's gonna be, yeah, just less than 1 minute to analyze this connection. Yeah, here we have some results. Part of our elements are not checking, are failed. Okay, but yeah, the idea here, it was just to show the workflow. But for sure, here we have some nice results, and it's possible to connect these structures analyzed in ETABS with CYPE Connect in this case, and of course here with StruBIM Steel. Okay, so this is StruBIM Uploader. It's now available in more languages. It's now updated, and you have these 3 softwares of CYPE that can be used together with ETABS. So StruBIM Shearwalls, CYPE Connect, and StruBIM Steel. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. Let me show you some features that are related to MEP. So let's begin with electricity. Let's go back to the site menu. Here we have electrical installations here, and we have here a new option that is called CYPELEC. Okay, so actually CYPELEC is a combination of 4 different tools. Okay, actually if we click here, we can see that in this version 2025A, we have just CYPELEC that is combining the previous softwares that were named CYPELEC Core, CYPELEC NF, CYPELEC REBT, and this one that is from Colombia. Okay, so here we have international code, a French code, a Spanish code, and a Colombian code. Okay, so now we can open, just using the same software, these 4 options here, and here we can see the different options that we have here. Okay, for example, in this case, core could be the situation that is available in our suite for more countries. Okay, I think here we have some examples. But here the main feature is that now you just have to install CYPELEC, and then you can choose which version of CYPELEC you want to use, okay, to develop your electrical installations. Okay, here in CYPELEC you can also now create the views. Is the same situation that we have in other softwares. Okay, so based on the lines that you have, for example, I can click here. You can create a view. Okay, so for example here I can create a new view based on the lines that I select. So lightning A, and then I have this view. This is another feature that we have here at CYPELEC. Okay, so it's a very simple feature, but it's very useful, because now you just have to install once this software, and then you can select the version of CYPELEC according to the project that you are doing. Okay. Something similar to CYPELEC we have at CYPEPLUMBING. Let me show you here. Let's open the CYPE menu again. Let's go to MEP CYPEPLUMBING. Let's open the software. You see that CYPEPLUMBING have this shorter name now, that is just CYPEPLUMBING, okay? Because here now we have some tools that were integrated. Okay, so let me open one project that you understand what is happening here. Okay, if we open the BIMserver.center platform, okay, let's open the BIMserver.center platform today. During the launch of this version, you see that here in the platform, if we search for plumbing, okay, let's see what we find. We will see several softwares here. Okay, what we will see now is this one here, the CYPEPLUMBING, the short name. Okay, because in this version, this software integrates the CYPEPLUMBING water system, the CYPEPLUMBING sanitary system, and the CYPEPLUMBING schematic diagrams. Okay, so with this software, you can do everything that is possible with this one, and this one in one software, in an integrated installation. Okay, so you do everything together here, and you can also have the same features that we have in openbim layout. Okay, so the features that are available at openbim layouts are now also integrated at CYPEPLUMBING. Okay, it's the same situation that happens with CYPE architecture or with StruBIM Steel or CYPE Connect, that you have openbim layout running embedded in those applications. Okay, so now at CYPEPLUMBING we have the same situation. Okay, so CYPEPLUMBING is running here. Let's open just to take a little tour in this new interface. Okay, if you have been working with CYPEPLUMBING sanitary systems or water systems in the past, the things here are very similar to those programs. The only difference is that now you can alternate between these disciplines without exiting this software. And when you save, you create your files, they will be always the same file. Okay, for example, here in the water system step, I will have some options that are related to water supply, because we are talking about water systems. Okay, so here we have the supply connection points, we have different feedings, we have the consumptions here. Okay, all the pipes, the same situation that was in the past in the CYPEPLUMBING water systems. Okay, here you can also define the general options, in this case, that are related to water systems. Okay, and here you can also get your diagrams. Okay, like this, the CYPEPLUMBING schematic diagrams that we saw before. Okay, here you can still have your bill of quantities of this installation. So this is everything similar to CYPEPLUMBING water system. Okay, if we jump from the water system step to the sanitary system, the situation it's the same, but in this case we are talking about sewage, we are talking about sanitary systems. Okay, you see that is the same model. Okay, let's open here the 3D model just to show you that is the same model. Okay, but now we are talking about sanitary systems. Okay, if we deactivate here the architectural model, you see the sanitary systems here. Okay, so in this case, here we have the specific tools for sanitary systems, and again we have the same tabs that we have been talking before. Okay, and there is a third tab, that is the layout tab, that is equivalent to the openbim layout interface with the same system, where you can create your sheets in this area here. Okay, combining the files that were modeled and designed in the previous steps. It's the same situation that we have, as I said before, at CYPE architecture. First you model, in this case you analyze, you design your installation, and then you can create these 3D scenes that you can then import here to this the sheets. Okay, and create your sheets. Okay, so now you have much more options to extract the graphical documentation of your projects, of our models, because the openbim layout has been integrated here also at CYPEPLUMBING. Okay. Probably in the next weeks we'll be doing some specific webinars to talk a little bit more about these integrations, both of them, CYPELEC and CYPEPLUMBING, showing how to work, how you can use these softwares. Okay, the idea of this presentation today is just to point which are these new features and not show all the advantages of using these softwares in the integrated version. Okay, and just to finish this part, I would like to show you that if you have been working with those softwares that are separated, sanitary systems and water systems, you can use these buttons here to import from the previous versions the projects developed in the CYPEPLUMBING sanitary systems and CYPEPLUMBING water systems in this case. And if you go to the sanitary systems tab, you do the same and import from the CYPEPLUMBING sanitary systems in this case. Okay. Alright, so let me turn on my camera again. Let's conclude this presentation here. Thank you very much for your assistance. I hope this was a nice presentation. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. You learned a little bit about our features, these new features. Okay, I know there's maybe a lot of things to see. I invite you again to visit our website, access this option here in the solutions tab, and get more information about the new features. Okay, I also invite you to download our software if you are not working with our applications yet. There are some trial versions that you can download directly from the BIMserver.center platform or our download area, as we saw in the beginning of the presentation. Okay, I thank you for your presence, and I hope to see you in the next presentations that we are constantly doing here at CYPE. It was a pleasure to be here with you, sharing a little bit about these new features, and see you.